After I changed into younger, my own circle of relatives lived remote places. I lived in Indonesia for a few years, and my mom, she didn't have the cash to ship me, in which all the American children went to high school. However, she concepted changed into vital for me to keep up with American schooling, so she determined to educate me more lessons herself Monday through Friday. However, due to the fact she needed to visit paintings, the only time she should do it, changed into at 4:30 in the morning. However, every time I'd whinge, my mom could simply provide me one seams, and she'd say, "That is no picnic for me either, Buster." So I understand that a number of you are nonetheless adjusting to being again at faculty. However, I'm right here nowadays due to the fact I have something vital to speak about with you. My father left my own circle of relatives after I changed into 2 years antique, and I changed into raised through a single mother who needed 2 paintings and who struggled at instances to pay the payments and wasn't usually capable of provide. As the matters that other children had, there have been instances after I missed having a father in my lifestyles. There have been instances after I changed into lonely, and I felt like I did not healthy in. So I wasn't usually as targeted as I must were on faculty, and I did a few matters that I'm now no longer proud of, and I were given an extra hassle then. I must have, and my lifestyles should have effortlessly taken a flip for the worst. However, I changed into fortune, and I were given lots of second chances, and I had the possibility to visit university and law faculty and observe my goals. My spouse, our First Lady Michelle Obama Mama, she has a comparable story. Neither of her dad and mom had long passed to university, and that they did not have lots of cash. However, they labored tough and she labored tough in order that she should visit first-class colleges in this USA. A number of you won't have those benefits. Perhaps you do not have adults on your lifestyles who come up with the support which you want. Perhaps a person on your own circle of relatives has misplaced their process, and there's now no longer sufficient cash to move around. Perhaps you stay in a community in which you do not sense secure, or have buddies who are pressing you to do matters you realize aren't proper. Perhaps you may be a exquisite writer, perhaps even accurate sufficient to write down a book or articles in a newspaper. However, you might now no longer understand it till you write that English paper, other English elegance paper that's assigned to you. Perhaps you may be an innovator or an inventor, perhaps even accurate sufficient to provide you with the subsequent iPhone or the brand new remedy or vaccine. However, you won't understand it till you do your undertaking on your technological know-how. Elegance, perhaps you may be a mayor or a senator or a Supreme Court justice, however you might, or a Supreme Court justice. However, you might now no longer recognize that till you be part of student authorities or the debate group, and irrespective of what you need to do together along with your lifestyles. I assure that you'll want in training to do it. You need to be a medical doctor or a trainer or a police officer. You need to be a nurse or an architect, a legal professional, or a member of our Navy. You are going to want a good training for each unmarried one in every of those careers. You cannot drop out of faculty and simply drop right into a good activity. You have to educate for it and paintings for it and analyze for it. And this isn't simply critical to your very own lifestyles and your very own destiny. What you are making of your training will determine not anything much less than the destiny of this. The destiny of America relies upon you. What you are mastering in faculty today will decide whether or not we as a kingdom can meet our best demanding situations in the destiny. You will want the understanding and trouble-fixing talents you analyze in technology and math to treatment illnesses like most cancers and AIDS, and to expand new energy technologies and guard our. You will want the insights, vital questioning talents you benefit in records and social research to fight poverty and homelessness, crime and discrimination, and make our kingdom more truthful and more unfastened. You will want the creativity and ingenuity you expand in all your instructions to construct new businesses that will create new jobs and enhance our financial system. We want each unmarried one in every of you to expand your skills and your talents in your mind so that you can assist us vintage folks resolve our maximum difficult troubles. In case you do not try this, in case you stop on faculty, You are now no longer simply quitting on yourself. You are quitting on your survey. I recognize it is now no longer continually clean to do nicely in faculty. I recognize numerous you have demanding situations to your lives proper. Now that may make it tough to attention on your faculty. Paintings? I get it. I recognize what it is like. However, on the quit of the day, the circumstances of your lifestyles, what you appear like, where you return back from, how tons cash. You have what you have happening at domestic. None of this is an excuse for neglecting your homework or having a terrible mindset in faculty. It is no excuse for speaking back for your trainer or slicing magnificence or losing out of faculty. There's no excuse for now. No longer attempting wherein you're proper now does not to decide wherein you may turn out to be. No one's written your future for you due to the fact right here in America, you write your very own future. You are making your very own destiny. That is what younger human beings like you are doing each day all across America. It truly is why these days I'm calling on every of you to set your very own desires for your training and do the entirety you could to meet them. Your intention may be something as easy as doing all of your homework, paying interest in elegance, or spending a few time every day analyzing a book. Perhaps you may determine to get involved in an extracurricular pastime or volunteer in your network. Perhaps you may determine to stand up for youngsters who are being teased or bullied due to who they may be or how they appearance due to the fact you trust. I do that. Each one younger human beings deserve a safe surroundings to take a look at and study. Perhaps you may determine to take higher care of yourself so that you can be extra ready to study. However, something you remedy to do. I need you to decide to it. I need you to truly paintings at it. I recognize that. Now and again you get that experience from TIV, that you could be wealthy and a hit with non-difficult paintings at your price tag. 2. Fulfillment is through rapping or basketball or being in reality TV. Famous person possibilities are you are now no longer going to be any of those matters. The reality is being a hit is difficult. You may not love each situation that you take a look at. You may not click on with each teacher which you have now no longer each homework challenge will appear absolutely applicable in your life proper at this minute, and also you may not always prevail. At the entirety of the primary time you strive it truly is a number of the maximum a hit. Human beings within inside the international are those who have had the maximum screw-ups. J.K. Rowling, who wrote Harry Potter, her first Harry Potter book become rejected 12 instances earlier than it had become finally posted. Michael Jordan become reduced from his excessive college basketball group. He misplaced masses of video games and ignored hundreds of pictures at some stage in his profession. However, he as soon as stated, I even have failed time and again, and yet again in my life. And that is why I sued Purvey. These human beings succeeded due to the fact they understood which you cannot permit your screw-ups. Define you need to permit your screw-ups. Teach you need to allow them to display you what to do otherwise the next time. So in case you get into hassle, that doesn't suggest you are a troublemaker. It way you want to strive more difficult to act proper. In case you get a horrific grade, that does not suggest you are silly. It's simply way you want to spend greater time studying. No one's born being excellent in any respect matters. You emerge as excellent at matters through hard paintings. You are now no longer a varsity athlete the first time you play a brand new recreation. You do not hit each. Be aware the primary time you sing a music, you have got to exercise the equal precept applies to your schoolwork. You would possibly should do a math hassle some instances earlier than you get it proper. You would possibly should study something a few instances earlier than you recognize it. You certainly should do some drafts of a paper earlier than it is excellent, sufficient to hand in. Do not be afraid to invite questions. Do not be afraid to invite for assists whilst you want it. I try this each day. Soliciting for assist isn't always a signal of weak spot. It is a signal of power due to the fact it indicates you've got the braveness to admit whilst you do not know something, and that then permits you to analyze something new. So discover in person which you agree with, determine a grandparent or an instructor, a train or a counselor, and ask them to assist you live on course to satisfy your dreams. Or even whilst you're struggling, even whilst you're discouraged and you sense like different humans have given up on you. Do not ever surrender on yourself. due to the fact whilst you surrender on yourself, you surrender on your United States of America. America isn't always approximately folks that stop while matters were given tough. It is approximately folks that stored going, who attempted more difficult, who cherished their United States of America too. Plenty to do whatever, much less than their satisfactory. It is the tale of college students who sat wherein you take a seat down 250 years in the past and went on to salary. A revolution, and that they founded this state Yonhusa, wherein you take a seat down 75 human beings, college students. Years in the past who overcame a melancholy and gained a world war, who fought for civil rights and placed a person on the moon, college students who sat wherein you take a seat down 20 years in the past, who based Google and Twitter and Facebook and alternate. The manner we speak with every different, so these days, I need to invite all of you. What's your contribution going to be? What problems are you going to remedy? What discoveries will you make? What's going to a president who comes right here in 20 or 50 or 100 years say about what all of you probably did for this USA? You already know your households, your instructors, and I are doing the whole thing we can to make certain you've got the education. You want to reply these questions? I'm running tough to restore up your lecture rooms and get you the books and the gadget and the computer systems you want to examine. However, you have got to do your part too. I anticipate all of you to get severe this year. I anticipate you to place your best attempt into the whole thing you do. I anticipate outstanding matters from every of you, so do not allow us to down. Do not allow your own circle of relatives down, or your USA down. Maximum of all, do not allow yourself down. Make us all proud.